don't need a coach. You don't need a coach. Yes, people, welcome to TOSTV. This is Tade's Chinwag with a special guest. It's been a long time since Kieran has been on this channel, but welcome again. How you doing, man?
I'm very good. I'm very good. You know, it's we've seen some shocking coaching decisions in the last couple of weeks. But actually, last week, you know, 2 finals, 2 Manchester clubs, 2 managers basically cost their teams glory in the Europa League and glory in the Champions League. The team selections from Solskjaer and Pep Guardiola just baffled me. I mean, in a major game, I've never seen in all my life watching football where you play your hand. I understand you always want to play your best players, but that normally you do that in a five-a-side when we're playing in, you know, Islington at Market Road. But if you're trying to win a Pacific game, you play your hand like that, and then you don't play with DM. That's Pep Guardiola, and you're expecting your DM, you're expecting your creative players to do a DM's jobs and press from the front. You're having a laugh. Solskjaer as well.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, you know what? I mean, you and I just talked about this yesterday, and
no,
you know,
let me just one more thing. Let me say, Solskjaer as well wants shooting as well. To play all those players, no wonder, you know, they struggle to break season. And guess what? What happened? And I'm leaving one more thing. Where were the game changers to come and change the game? Oh yes, they're all on the field. Enough said.
Listen, I'm just gonna say this. I'm gonna say this now. Yeah, it didn't work on that occasion. I get where you're coming from. I totally disagree with the lineup. However, I still feel many managers are experimental. When it works, they're a genius. When it doesn't,
one game of final,
down.
The one game of the final, you can't get it wrong. And when you get your team, Pep Guardiola for the last 4 years has cost his team a Champions League. Man City are easy to play with when they play that sort of formation, because all teams have to do is get the spaces and hit them on the counter attack, and they beat them. Liverpool 2018, Spurs 2019, Lyon last year 2020, and now Chelsea.
Listen, I see what you're saying, but anyways, you know what? Yeah, that's not what we're going to talk about today, people.
Yes.
But that's a very nice way to start the show. But you know what? Let's get right into it, people. Let's get right into it. All right, people, what we're going to talk about today really is the England squad for Euros. And we know that our man Saka, because obviously this is a sort of part-time Arsenal channel, in the manner of speaking. And we just need to talk about the England squad, and especially the fact that Saka also made it, which is to the surprise of many people. But listen, what do you feel about this England squad? I'm going to put it up on the screen right now, and we'll just do a little bit of breakdown right from the goalkeepers, the defense, the midfielders, and to the forwards. So let's start with the goalkeepers on the screen right now.
Well, if you look at the goalkeepers in terms of like the goalkeepers that Gareth Southgate has chosen, he's gone with Johnstone, he's gone with Pickford, and he's gone with Dean Henderson. Not a problem with that. In terms of the goalkeepers, I've got no problem with them. Pickford's clearly number one, and we're assuming, rightly or wrongly, that the number 2 is going to be Dean Henderson in terms of like the experience. But experience, obviously, he would have taken Nick Pope, but Nick Pope's got a serious injury, so he couldn't go. So in that respect, that they picked themselves. As you can see from going back in my day, England are not producing enough top goalkeepers, because most of the goalkeepers the big clubs are getting are from abroad. So in terms of the dearth, there isn't a massive dearth of talent. But Pickford, in terms of being good with his feet and how Southgate wants people to be good on the ball, obviously he picks himself. So you don't really going to argue with the goalkeepers. So if you look at the goalkeeper situation, I was very happy with that.
Okay, all right, fair enough. You know what? I kind of agree with you on that one as well. I mean, there was no surprises in the goalkeeping department. However, when we look at the defense, we've got 3 right backs.
4.
Who's the 4th one? Reece James. Let me put it on the screen.
All right.
We've got Reece James.
It's all right. I'll call it out for you. We got Alexander-Arnold, Reece James, Kieran Trippier and Kyle Walker.
You're actually right. You're actually right. It's
Right.
actually worse than I thought. It's actually worse than I thought.
So basically, this is how we've done it, right? This is what Southgate's thinking is. Kyle Walker can play in a back three, so I can understand that selection. In terms of Reece James, he's played in a kind of a back three for Chelsea, but mainly he's played at wing back. Defensively, when he's played for Chelsea in a back four, he struggles, but he's very good going up, going behind. So in terms of that selection, it's due to his progression over the last 2 years. Understandable. Kieran Trippier is someone he trusts. He's had a very good season in La Liga. He's in the La Liga team of the season. Obviously, we don't see him enough of him in England because obviously he's playing for Atletico. And then, so I can understand that selection, although it was a bit controversial if Alexander-Arnold is left out. But Alexander-Arnold's inclusion as well, where
why is that? Let me cut you off there. Why is that controversial? Because
because simple reasons that the mantra was that Kieran Trippier is better defensively, and that what's happened, he has more experience. He's more trusted in terms of like one-on-one defending than Trent Alexander-Arnold, which I can understand. But in terms of like Alexander-Arnold's form and the fact that he's where modern fullbacks, especially in the Premiership, it's not about whether you can defend or not. If you look at the best right back in terms of defending, it's Aaron Wan-Bissaka of Man United. He never gets beaten in 1-1s, but he's not part of the reckoning because they're saying that people like Matty Cash are ahead of Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka's not great on the ball, and even certain Man United fans, so they're going to bring Diogo Dalot back. But Aaron Wan-Bissaka, in terms of his defensive duels, and has never lost a defensive duel. But that doesn't matter. So in that respect, Trent Alexander's inclusion can be seen as controversial. But the reason why I've got a problem with it, because we're going to get to it, he's played 4 right backs, and he's saying that Trent Alexander-Arnold could play further in the midfield if he changes his formation. But the problem I have is that the domino effect, and we're going to see the domino effect, is the strikers. But we'll get to that. So let's just park the bus on Trent Alexander-Arnold. So we've got the 4 right backs. Left back, we've got Chilwell and Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw's had a fantastic season for Man United. Where I was proved wrong that I always thought that the best left backs in the country were Kieran Tierney and Reguilon, really, but I took me on the ball. Actually, it has been Luke Shaw. And also
this season.
Chilwell's had a good season for Chelsea. He's a Champions League winner. He's part of Southgate's reckoning. Not a problem with that. My issue now.
What's happened? I can't hear you anymore. Can you hear me? I think you've frozen up a bit. I think your internet is gone off. Can you hear me now? I think it's better now. Your internet is better. Can you hear me? I think we're having a bit of difficulties here. We can see you. No, he's gone off. He's gone off, people. While we just wait for him to get him back, let's look at the comments. All right, I think I've got him back. Let me see if I can get him on. I can't hear you anymore. Are you saying anything? There's a problem with your audio. There's a problem with your audio. He's having some difficulties. I think he's having internet difficulties because I can see how strong his internet is from here. We'll just wait to get him back. Hopefully, he gets to a better place where he gets better internet within his apartment. All right, Liam Vince, would you have Tomori and Konsa instead of Mings and Coast? Is it Costa, you mean? And Watkins instead of Trippier? But it's a good squad, though. Personally, I don't have a problem with the defense, especially the central defense pairing. I don't have a problem with that, in my opinion, if you ask me. But I don't know what Kenny Ken feels about this question. Hello, Kenny Ken. You're back. Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but we could see you. I could see you. I don't know about the rest of the guys. I can hear you. We can hear you. We can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me. I can hear you. I don't know what's wrong. I can definitely perfectly.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you. You turned your mic off. Take your mute off.
No. My mic was fine.
Wait, but can you hear me now?
Yeah, I could hear you all along.
Yeah, the problem I've got is that when people try to phone me, despite the fact that I've publicised I'm working on my Twitter, and people know me, they still phone me. So I'm sorry that interfered with what I was doing. It was not do. Right. It was not do. So no one's going to phone me. I've told the person I'll ring them back. You know
all right, that's fine. That's fine.
So
that's totally fine.
Sorry about that. So
that's totally fine. Just before you go ahead, there was a question here I wanted to answer. This from Liam Vin. He said, would you have Tomori and Conor instead of Mings and Costa? I don't know what he means by Costa. And Watkins instead of Trippier.
Well, Consta's used to play It's Ezri Konsa, who plays for Aston Villa, but he used to play for Brentford. He's had a good season for Aston Villa. But I think what's happened, right, is that I think maybe the World Cup is next year in Qatar in November, December. It's probably where we're going to look at phasing out the players who got into the squad this year, because of maybe that's where people like the Consers and Tomori's are going to need good season. Tomori, I believe, has got his has he got a permanent deal with AC Milan now?
Not yet. The last time I saw on the news, he was still on loan, and they're trying to see if they can secure him on a permanent.
Yeah, so it's one of those things, and you look at players like Watkins as well. That's where we're going to get to as well, Liam as well.
All right, hold that thought then.
Hold that thought. Because that's
I think he was referring to the Mings and Coady partnership. I think that's what he meant by Coady.
All right, Mings and Coady. Let's just get to Mings and Coady, because we've got to look at that situation as well. Because I think that's a very important situation. When you look at Tomori and Konsa, we're gonna look at how we think Southgate's going to line up in terms of the personnel he's chosen. So, in terms of the personnel he's chosen, we know Maguire's there. We know Mings and Coady is there, and Stones is there. So that's the 4 centre halves. So we're thinking that Gareth Southgate is going to play a free. So in terms of a free, Conor Coady plays his best football in a free when he's at Wolves. Gareth, in terms of how Maguire plays on the back foot of Man United, and then Stones. Stones has always been seen.
Okay, so talking about Maguire, let me ask you this question, because I'll get to Maguire.
I'll get to Maguire.
Yeah. I just have a question.
I know you're going to talk about it as well.
What do you think I want to talk about?
You're going to talk about Rio Ferdinand's comments.
Yes. And I mean, obviously, for people that don't know, Rio Ferdinand feels he shouldn't be in the squad because of his injury. I think he wants them to do something similar to what they've done for Sergio Ramos. Do you think he was right in saying that?
Yes, because traditionally, if you go to every tournament in my lifetime, England have always taken players who are on reputation and not on proper fitness. Sergio Ramos wasn't entirely fit when he this season for Real Madrid, and in terms of what Enrique is doing, Enrique is looking towards 2022 next year, so he's trying to clear the decks and try and get a younger team. Sergio Ramos, he just isn't fit, so he can't play. But in terms of England, we did it in 2002 with Beckham when he broke his metatarsal. We did it with Rooney 4 years later, broke his metatarsal. How many players who are not fully? And then when we get in the midfield, we've done it again in the midfield with quite a few players. So in terms of Harry Maguire, the Aston Villa game, he's gone off with ankle injury. So that could be a twisted ankle or knee ligament damage. If it's ligament damage, how's someone who's going to be fit for the opening game against Croatia?
So you feel we're just being sentimental at best?
We're not sentimental. The
fact that Harry Maguire is going.
Yeah, but the reason, it's not sentimental. He's doing it because in terms of how Southgate wants to play, he wants all these players to be good on the ball. Remember, Chris Smalling of Man United, now of Roma, wasn't picked for the World Cup 3 years ago because he was seen as not being very good on the ball. Harry Maguire is excellent on the ball. So he needs And I'm going to tell you why Harry Maguire has been taken and why he wants ball playing midfielders, ball playing players, because we're going to get into the midfield. But in terms of
but you say, wait, hang on a minute. You said that yes, you say he's good on the ball, but I'm talking about the fact that this guy is injured currently.
Yeah, but
when
and I agree with you. He shouldn't be going. But Gareth, we're talking about why Gareth Southgate took him. Gareth Southgate's taken him because he's his best player, he's his best defender, and he's best on the ball. And and he in a free, he knows that in terms of like if he's going to play a free, he's going to need Johnstones and Harry Maguire in that free because they're good on the ball. And the next player in next cabinet rank is either a Mings, who we don't think is good on the ball, or Conor Coady, who I'm not sure is good on the ball, but he can play in a free. So basically, how he's going to do it is that Conor Coady is going to be the one who's going to attack the ball. So, for instance, when you're in a partnership if you've got two centre halves and a back four and a left back, the first thing you want is someone who brings the ball out, who can make it, and then the second centre half is the one who attacks the ball, goes for the headers, goes up.
More like a Vidic sort of Ferdinand combination,
and also you want someone as a talker, you want a leader in there. Conor Coady is a leader. Harry Maguire's captain of Man United, but Conor Coady is a leader. So you saw that sort of combinations. Obviously, Harry Maguire obviously can do that. But if you look at it in terms of what Gareth wants, all of them are going to do that. But the best player who's going to attack the ball is going to be Conor Coady. And Tyrone Mings as well if he plays, because Tyrone Mings gives him the left-footed option as well. So in terms of like when they're playing a back three, he might want a left footer in there. But I take your point. Fit men should be there, and Harry Maguire is a massive risk.
Okay. All right, cool. Thanks for the tip. I really appreciate it. I think this is Randy Viper. He keeps calling himself Mikel Arteta, but I think I know who he is. I just made Bukayo Saka the player he is today, world class. Saka is the best player in the world. Man City didn't win the Champions League because they didn't have me. Tade, I will hire you as my blunt assistant and we will win the Champions League. He's just trolling. Osman Ali, the man, the myth, the legend. Kenny, as a matter of fact, Ken. All right, people. Let's move on straight into the midfield. Okay, let's move on straight into the midfield.
That's where I've got a massive problem.
Right. So, what's your take on? We've got Jude Bellingham, we've got Jordan Anderson, we've got Mason Mount, we've got Calvin Phillips, and we've got Declan Rice. What problem have you got with this midfield?
Where's a player that can control possession? Where's the Luka Modric? Why are England not producing players like Toni Kroos, Luka Modric, Cesc Fabregas, Bruno Fernandes? Because these are players in the latter stages of a tournament who keep possession. We've always known, and you obviously since you've been living in this country as well, the key elements is keeping the ball and keeping possession, keeping it ticking over, not chasing the ball, not trying to win the ball back, especially in games. We all know what happened in Russia, the semi-final, when everyone was saying that Croatia had an extra day because they won their penalty shootout against Russia, went to extra time. England beat Sweden 3-0 and got an easy draw. So England will be the fresher. But you're not going to be the fresher when you don't have the ball.
So here's my take on this, right? You mentioned something. You mentioned something quite interesting. You said, why is England not producing players of this caliber, the likes of De Bruyne, and so on and so forth?
Yes.
But is it England's job to produce, or is it? Hang on. Let me just say this quickly. Is it England's job to produce, or is it England's job to find those players if they are available? If those players are not available, how can England then find these players? It's about the ability of the players available.
Coaching. It's coaching. It's about possession. The mantra when I was younger, can you run? Are you big? And are you strong? That is the mantra of English coaching. It hasn't changed. It's all about athleticism. You watch the Champions League this season. You got to Champions League, Europa League. The English clubs got to won the competition, got to finals because they're the fittest. Not because they're the best, the fittest. Because they recovered better from the transition from, the Project Restart, the European games, and then they didn't need a pre-season because they're already fixed or running, and they went straight into that season. So, if you look at our cousins from the continent, they struggled because, you know, they didn't have that tradition where they didn't benefit from the break. They had the break, but they couldn't get their fitness. It was all about fitness. The Champions League and Europa League was all about the fittest teams won the league. Not the best players. Was Chelsea better than Man City? Not a chance. But a little fitter and able to win on the counter-attack and save Villarreal, fitter than Man United. So it's all about fitness. And I think what England tend to do is that if you look at Euro 96, Terry Venables plays a Christmas tree. Why does he play a Christmas tree? To pack the midfield. Because he knows he hasn't got a ball-winning player. We're talking 25 years.
So let me get this straight, right? You've said one thing about England looking to produce certain players.
They never have.
That's what. Yeah, hang on. Obviously, we had the likes of Gerrard back in the days, not necessarily now. But
he doesn't control possession. He's an attacking midfielder.
No. Hang on. When you say it doesn't control possession, I don't really understand what you mean by that.
I'll tell you what the situation is.
For me, Gerrard does a bit of both. Depending on the role he's put to play. And the likes of Scholes, if he's playing with likes of Scholes, he changes his role.
Okay, all right. Let me explain the situation. All right, explain it clearly. Do you remember the semi-final against when Croatia got the equaliser? Do you remember injury time as well when Croatia went in front? Do you remember it? I can't
remember the details of that game, but I'm talking about the last World Cup, right?
Yeah, but this is a most recent example of tournament football. Or let's go and talk about the game where England played Holland in the semi-finals of League of Nations. Cast your mind back to that situation. And what did Holland and Croatia do better than England? What were England doing during that game? They were chasing and trying to get the ball back because Holland kept possession. The same thing that happened with Croatia, Modric, they keep possession. And England have always had that problem for the last 40 years, especially 30 years. All right, I'll be generous, 30 years. It's always been a situation where international football, especially these knockout tournaments, where England are potentially going to be playing Portugal, France, and Germany, where they're going to spend long periods in the 90 minutes and potentially extra time without the ball. Now, you can't win. You can't get back into a game where you're a goal down without the ball, or you can't fall through a win without the ball. And that's what I'm trying to say. England do not control possession. And that's why you see formations like 3-4-3 or what Hoddle did in 98, where he played wing-backs. So basically like a 3-5-2. So and split strikers. And that's always been a situation. When you pack the midfield, invariably it's because you can't keep possession. England can never play 4-3-3 at international level. France can, Spain can, Portugal can, Croatia can.
Okay. So in a nutshell, the problem you have is the root cause. It's not necessarily the fact that Southgate has to choose, got his choices wrong in terms of who he has in the midfield. It's about producing that player that is going to be a Modric.
But then again, but look what's happened. He's picked Jordan Henderson. Jordan Henderson had a groin injury against the Everton game in February. He hasn't played a full 90 minutes since then. Yet he's going because of his leadership. I understand that, but it's the same thing. England going to major tournaments with picking their best players who are not even 8% fit.
And you don't think Southgate is doing this because he believes in these players? They got him that far in the World Cup. Most of these players you've mentioned, not all of them.
Southgate want to win the tournament? Does Southgate want to win the tournament? Does he want to win?
Okay, let's take some few comments here quickly. And most of these questions you're going to answer before we move to the attack. Yeah. Randy Viper here says, would Saka have been in the squad if Greenwood wouldn't have pulled out? What's your thought on that?
No.
You think he wouldn't have made the squad?
Probably
Why
not,
do you say that? Why do you say that?
The reason why I say that is because because clear. It wouldn't very clear to me. He wouldn't have made a squad because, again, it's a whole situation where Southgate, not a case of Saka being a better player, it's Southgate as well. But we need to, in order to raise our starts, we need to look at the forward. I'll explain why. and that's linked in to the inclusion of the fourth right back, and that's why I'm livid, absolutely livid with this selection.
So here's my take on this, right? I think Saka will have made the squad regardless, and the reason being, he has the ability to play in much more positions than Greenwood. Now, Southgate himself has come out to say this in the past, that he gives them an additional sort of option with the fact that if, say, for instance, Chilwell is playing a left wing back position or whatever, and he gets injured or whatever, or maybe Luke Shaw is unfit or whatever, Saka can easily, plug into that position. He's coming to say he gives them more options. So if you're looking at it, if you're looking at Greenwood and you're looking at Saka in terms of someone that offers more in terms of positions now, I would say Saka is going to give him more. And going by this guy's track record, he's going for a lot of players that can play multiple positions, even from the news conference he actually put out. This is just my argument for that. Do you know what I mean? And going by the fact that, for me, I think Saka has played in a very bad team this season, right? And he's done well considering his age. He's 19, considering we've been very poor in Arsenal, and he's been heads and shoulders above a lot of players that are supposed to be doing better than him this season. So I'm going to be looking at all that. I'm going to be thinking to myself, perhaps Saka would edge Greenwood based on these reasons I've laid down. This is just my thought.
Okay, we're going to get back to that and tell you why. Why I respect your position, but again, we're talking about tournament football, and what we need in tournament football, and I think we can't talk about tournament football without looking at the forwards and look all.
Yeah, okay, we're gonna get to the forwards now. Then let's just pick a few more comments. If there's anything you need to. All right, I think this is just a chat between most of the guys on the chats. All right, let's go straight to the forwards then. Okay.
All right, we look at the forwards. So you in terms of what you call forward players, you're saying the forwards are Calvert-Lewin, Harry Kane, Rashford, Saka, Sterling, Jordan Sancho, and Phil Foden and Jackie Grealish. Fair, all right. Because, all right, so when you say that squad, right? You've only got two.
Bring it back on the screen, or are you?
No, I've seen enough. You've only got two natural forwards in there. And two natural forwards who have scored goals on a regular basis, right? On a regular basis for their clubs.
One who?
Harry Kane and Calvert-Lewin, all right? So you've got Phil Foden, who plays further forward, but he's not a striker. Marcus Rashford has told anyone who listens that he doesn't want to play up top. He prefers to play out left.
On the wings.
Yeah. Sterling, obviously, he was a 15-year-old boy at Queen's Park Rangers. Wings, left or right. Then you've got a situation, Phil Foden, quick feet, down there. Jackie Grealish plays behind the front too. All same old players. It can open the door. But hang on here. That's where I've got an issue now. Because he's played, Saka's in the team. We left that back eye on Saka's in the team. And he's played someone like Alexander-Arnold. He's taken 4 right backs. So I don't understand that you can have a squad where you've only got 2 natural goal scorers, 2 natural strikers in Calvert-Lewin. And,
is it possible? Is it possible he's thinking to himself? Yes, you're right in saying what you've just said, right? However, he's thinking to himself. Rashford still has a bit of goals in him. He's the second highest goal scorer in United. All right. Phil Foden has some goals in him as well.
Let's look at this organically. Rashford hasn't been fit all season, and he wasn't exactly his fittest when he played last week. Sterling's out of form, although we know Sterling can score goals. Again, we're talking about players who can score goals. Foden can score goals. Can score the goals. Saka can score goals. All these players can score goals. But we're not talking about
Saka can score goals?
No, I'm talking about in general. But that's how Let's talk about. Remember, we're Gareth Southgate. This isn't my show.
All right.
We're Gareth Southgate. So his thinking is these guys, the players he plays in forwards, can score goals. But hang on it. Only got 2 natural goal scorers. So people who can score goals, who would you rely on when you're trying to get a goal? The person who can score goals or the natural finishers? That's where my problem is, where he's named 4 right backs and where possibly in that team.
So you're saying, essentially, I'm trying to understand you here. You're saying instead of having those 4 right backs, you should have one extra player that can score goals.
No,
is that what you're
can
saying?
Score goals. A natural goal scorer, a centre forward, can score goals and be a natural centre forward is a completely different thing in football. People think it's the same thing. It doesn't. Thing. I could, Harry Maguire could score a goal. Jordan Henderson could score a goal. But we're talking about their positions as centre forwards. Ollie Watkins should have been in that have been the 3rd centre forward, which means one of your right backs should have dropped out, or maybe one of your players you can, open the door should have dropped out. One, it's too top heavy with right backs and too top heavy with same old players. One of them has to go because you still need an extra striker. You can't just. So what if Kane gets injured? You're relying on Calvert-Lewin.
I don't think Calvert-Lewin can do that then.
I've never seen.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? In England, right now, who are the best goal scorers in England that's playing in the Premier League or wherever? Who are the best goal scorers? Yeah, English players that we have.
English players. Well, Alex Watkins had a good season with Aston Villa. Why isn't he in the squad? Why is we covering?
So what are you going to take out for him then?
I'll take out one of the right backs. We don't need 3 right backs. We don't.
Which of the right backs would you take out?
Probably,
now, isn't
it? No, it's not. No, probably the one I would have taken out was probably. I'd probably taken out Reece James. Sorry, Chelsea fans, Reece James.
That's quite.
Sorry, Chelsea fans. No disrespect. I'd taken out Reece James. I would have given them. I would have played them. Remember, it's all subjective. I would have taken Ollie Watkins.
Yeah,
we need 2. We need 3 centre forwards. We can't just rely on 2.
Can you see it's a tough choice? Can you see it's a tough choice now? Because you think about someone like Reece James, who's had a very, very good season.
I hear what you're saying, but he's bottled it, hasn't he? He's bottled it because he's taken all 4 and he's sacrificed a natural goal scorer. So he's only got 2 natural goal scorers. He's bottling it. You can't have about, it's like some managers, right, where they got 2 world-class left backs. So instead of playing one and leave the other on the bench, they decide to change the formation so both can play. Or they'll play the left back and then play the other one left wing. Or a back 3, like Scotland do. They've got Kieran Tierney and Robertson. Kieran Tierney plays at a 3, Robertson plays at wing back. Boom. Solves your problem, but it balances your squad.
Okay. Let me bring this back on the screen quickly, right? Now, this is my take on this, right? I kind of agree with you about the fact that you only have Calvert-Lewin and you have Harry Kane as the natural goal scorers, right? However, what I do see there are people that can create for these strikers, and they're going to be filled with a lot of chances. Well, I'm looking at Jack Grealish and I'm looking at Phil Foden, right? These 2 players, and when Raheem Sterling is on form, we know he can score goals and we know he can create chances as well. So surely Gareth Southgate will be looking at it that, listen, yes, I know I have only 2 natural goal scorers, but I have players that can create for these natural goal scorers and players that can score the odd goal now and again.
All right. I'll put it back.
Because let me quickly finish this. Let me quickly finish this. Because he's going to be looking at it and thinking to himself, if I have these 3 players that you're talking about, natural goal scorers and all that, there's a certainty that Watkins is going to just sit on the bench most of the tournament and do nothing. That's the honest truth.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if someone gets injured, Watkins gets on. That's what happens. You have 26-man squads because you know there is going to be an injury, primarily in the key position. And whether Watkins starts or not, the situation is, if Harry Kane gets injured, you only got 1 natural goal scorer left, which is Calvert-Lewin, who, for all intents and purposes, has struggled from goals since Christmas.
Towards the tail end, yeah.
Now, you've got Ollie Watkins as well. You need that extra security. And the way you're mentioning, the point you mentioned was the fact that in terms we have, you've got all these creative players like Sterling, at times Rashford, Foden, and definitely Grealish and definitely Mount, who could open the door. But so basically what you're saying, without someone who can, control the possession and pass the ball accurately from a quarterback position like Kroos and Modric, you're relying on people to win the ball back for them. But international football isn't winning the ball back. International football is about protecting the screen and basically having numbers. And then what will happen is that one of those players who protects the screen can pass the ball accurately and keep possession, because you're not always going to play at the frenetic tempo in international football. There are going to be times where it's going to be quick, slow, and then the last third, quick. And that's where what I'm looking at is that the squad looks imbalanced to me.
Let me bring something back in. Let me bring something into the spin here. I know I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here. Rashford, you said he doesn't like to play in the attacking position. But we've seen him play, and we've seen him do better than Martial in those positions.
Yes.
So yes,
but his throat position is where Martial plays. Him and Martial play left side.
Listen, Kenny. Here's my take on this. Remember the season when Gerrard, under Benitez, years and years ago, was played in several positions, right? He's played in right back, he's played in defensive midfield, he's played in attacking midfield.
Why was he playing in those positions?
No. It's not about
those positions.
It's not about why now. Listen, I'm getting to a point. It's not about why. It's about the fact that he was playing those positions and he came out to say he didn't really like those positions. But guess what? He did well in those positions, right? So it's not about the why now. It's about doing a job, even if you don't like it, but you're doing a job and you're doing it well.
But
in terms of Rashford, he's done all right in those positions.
He has done well in that positions, but the same token is we're talking about knockout football or the last group game, and I believe the last group game is going to be against the Czech Republic, where England might need a point to get through, and I might need a win because they ballsed up games against Scotland and Croatia. My situation is you want natural goal scorers if Harry Kane gets injured, because guess what? Harry Kane's been injured on the ankles. He's got weak ankles.
So your point is because this is a knockout tournament where there is no time to be experimenting. You need the best of the best in each position to do their job, because you can't afford to be slack.
Well, I'm not sure it's funny, right? In terms of like trying to, Dave, you're trying to win a tournament, and the only way to win a tournament is by scoring goals.
Yeah.
So what you want to be, you don't want to be top. You're basically picking players who can score a goal on their day. Well, you're not picking a natural goal scorer, and I think that there should be a room for one more natural goal scorer. And I think Southgate is going to rude a day. May rude a situation, because there's going to be a situation where, he is going to need that. And he's going to think, well, I bought players who are same old, are creative, but who's going to score my chance? Who's going to put my chances away? And I just look at that and I just think, well, I don't agree with it. But then again, you're dead to be wrong, because, players are going to be given opportunities to prove people like me wrong. And you.
All right, this comment on the screen is for you. So this is from Randy Viper. Thanks for the tip again. I really appreciate it. He said, Ken, any good recipes for bodybuilding, especially chicken meals? I usually put some seasoning and fry it in a pan. Is this okay? I can't eat beef so hard to get protein.
Nope.
Sorry. Let me continue.
Fried food is never good for you, especially in big quantities. You need to eat skinless chicken.
What about fried food with good oil? What's the name of this oil?
Please,
this low fat oil.
Please. You might as well eat low fat custard creams.
But seriously though, there are some very good. There's some good fats oil, fatless or fat-free oil.
How many
olive oil? Olive oil doesn't have saturated fat, isn't it?
How many sportsmen have you seen, or athletes or bodybuilders, do badly if they eat clean? How many?
I'm just saying.
Since when has eating clean been an issue? I don't eat clean, but if I was to eat clean, I know full well that I'll get the results I need and quicker.
Listen, man, I think you bodybuilding guys, man, you guys need to get a life, man. Freaking hell. How can I be living a life and not have... Look, listen, don't get me wrong, yeah. I still try to watch my, what I take and all that. But come on, at least 2 or 3 times a month. I should have my olive oil.
You are allowed a cheat meal. But all I'm trying to say is that you can't, there has to be times that if you are going to do something properly, you have to make sacrifices. Footballers make sacrifices by not going to nightclubs every day and not mixing with their friends who grind over a steak, because those friends who grow up over a steak like I said, don't have to be in bed early, don't have to have the right diets, and can do all the other things. This footballer needs to be football. Just like if you're in the public eye, you can't go around putting rubbish on Twitter and being one of the lads and having Twitter arguments, because guess what? You lose your temper and you come out with the wrong remarks. Like the cricketer I'm just looking at now, historic tweets where he's taken a mickey out of people from other countries and other religions. He's now not explain himself. That's called sacrifice, mate.
Okay. This is a question for you. So Randy Vapper is saying he can't believe Lingard got omitted. And before you answer that, just to let you know, guys, I'm going to be trying to find the lineup, and then we can talk about the lineup for the game, because there's a game between England and Austria in the next 17 minutes. So I'm going to look for the lineup. But what do you feel about Lingard? Because I saw this in the press conference where they asked Gareth Southgate, and he was saying that he's going to start this game against Austria, and he's going to be looking forward to him proving him wrong, and he's going to be on standby in case something happens to any of the players. He's definitely going to be on standby. What do you feel about Lingard missing out, especially with his form this season? He's been really good this season. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, simple. He should have joined Man United. He should have joined West Ham at the start of the season and done on loan. If he had joined West Ham at the start of the season and gone on loan and played a full season, he would have been in the squad. Simple.
So you're saying
it's actually that simple. It's actually that simple. He hasn't played enough games this season, because first half of the season players like Fernandes and Pogba, mostly Fernandes was blocking his route, and then they went and bought Van der Beek, who can't even get a game. So Van der Beek, who's cost 44 million, can't get a game. Why should Lingard, who's had problems, in terms of like his mum being ill, he's having to look at his siblings and everything, help looking at his family, look after his siblings, who basically hasn't been able to concentrate in football. This is, people need to forget. Remember, Euro 96 wasn't World Cup 98, which means Gaza couldn't have got a game, and World Cup 2018 in Russia isn't Euro 2020. Things happen. A lot of things happen in 2 or 3 years. And Lingard, just like Dele Alli, who was like one of the mainstays and first names in the sheets for Gareth Southgate in these matches. I'm just going to call the teams out to you, by the way. Right. I've
got it on the screen. Let
me call it out. Let me call it out.
I want to put it on the screen.
I'll get. Well, because we've been arguing. Thanks a lot now, isn't it?
Okay, fine. Go on.
No, I've missed it. You've messed it up now.
What do you mean I messed it up?
Well, basically...
Okay, it's right here on the screen. Can you guys see it? Because I don't know if you guys can see it.
All right. Basically, he was playing with a back four. Kane was up top of his zone. Lingard was playing on the right-hand side. That's all I saw.
So this is what I see, right? So it's Pickford in goal, right? On the screen, right? I don't know if you can see the screen. Pickford on goal. Alexander-Arnold starting. Trippier, Mings, and Coady. How the hell is he going to... What sort of lineup?
Who's on the left?
Right, I think Saka might be on the left. So let me tell you what we've got, right? We've got Pickford, Alexander-Arnold, Trippier, Mings, Coady, Declan Rice, Bellingham, Saka, Lingard, Grealish, and Kane. So I'm thinking he's going with the back three. And you have Alexander-Arnold or Trippier, one of them, playing as a wing back, right wing back, and Saka playing as a left wing back. Do you see what I was saying about the potential of Saka?
At the end of the day, he's got Alexander-Arnold in there. So basically, if he's playing... if we look at it again, let's look at it again. He's playing. It looks like he's going to play with a back four. So he's playing with a back
three.
Well, on the TV it showed a back four. So we look at it. We've got Pickford Alexander-Arnold, Trippier, Mings, and Coady. Rice, Bellingham, Saka.
So who's going to play left back? Who's going to play left back? Trippier?
All right. So if we think it's a back four, then it's going to be Alexander-Arnold on the right, Trippier on the left, Mings and Coady in the back four, and then we're going to have Grealish on the left, Lingard on the right, Kane up top, and then we have the three midfielders of Rice, Bellingham, and Saka's going to have to do it's going to be like the attacking midfielder. That's how it looks to me in terms of the formation.
Okay. I like this now. Let me tell you what I think. Right, what I think this is going to be. It's going to be a back three. Right. Yeah, with Trippier, Mings, and Coady. Right, Trippier on the right hand side of the back three. Then you have Alexander-Arnold playing as a right wing back, Saka playing as a left wing back. Then you have Rice and Bellingham in the defensive midfield, and you probably have Lingard, Grealish, and Kane as the top four, as the top three. Maybe Lingard will be playing as a 10 in this case. I don't know, but this is what I think. But I could be wrong. Either of us could be wrong. Either of us could be right.
Well, in terms of what I've seen and how it looks, in terms of like the formations, I'm seeing something similar to Austria, because Austria has kind of played the same way. They've got the same sort of formation, because we're going to be seeing one of our boys, Alaba, today for Austria.
Yep. Real Madrid boy. Yep. It's strange saying that, man.
Yeah.
It's strange saying that.
But in terms of me, it does look a back four, and Trippier is just going to have to play on the left back.
On the left wing.
Yeah, left back.
You have a point there, because Trippier can play left back. So yeah, you have a point saying that.
And so in terms of like that thing, Kane's getting a game. So obviously he wants, but obviously you know full well that in a game against Croatia, it's highly likely that on the right hand side it could be Sterling. It could be either Sterling or Sancho. You think it's going to be Sancho, and on the left hand side, it could be Foden or Grealish. We may think it's Foden, and we know that in the middle, it's going to be, a bit of it's either going to be Rice is going to play in that position. We know Rice is going to play. So basically, in terms of like the squad, in terms of the first game, there's we know that the holding midfielders are either going to be Jordan Henderson or Declan Rice. One of them is ever going to play. We know that in terms of like Harry Kane's going to play up front in his own. So it's basically who's going to play off him in the first game against Croatia. We kind of know that it's going to be a back three, and we know that Johnstone's going to play in a back three. It's highly likely that if he goes for a left-footed option, it's going to be Mings, and if Harry Maguire's fit, it's going to be him. If not fit, then it'll be Conor Coady. We kind of know that, and we know Pickford's going to be in goal.
Yeah. All right, cool. We've got like 5 more minutes, so I'll let you go. Big up, hey, Bergev. Is it Bargev? Big up, Kenny and Tade.
Ken.
Bargev,
mate? Long time no see, mate. I hope you're good. Hope family are doing well.
Hope you guys have been well. So excited to see how Saka does. Yeah, we're all excited. Yeah. Listen, talking about Saka,
some fans didn't want him there. Some Arsenal fans didn't want him to get in the squad for
some weird reason. I don't know why.
Well, no. It was
because of burnout or something.
No, it was burnout. I think it was just done out of. It weren't done out of malice. It was just done out of, overprotectiveness.
That means because they don't want him to burn out, because he's really, really played a lot of games this season, hasn't he?
Yeah, of course, it's overprotectiveness. But the situation, right? That's how things are. People can be. Arsenal fans are, they're a different breed, innit? When it comes to their club, they still think we're the best club in. They still think we're the best club in England. But that's good.
I've been saying this for a long time. Yes, I know it's good to be optimistic, and really, I'm an optimistic person. I get that.
Don't we know it?
When we're having a proper discussion, let's be real. And I said this 2 seasons ago. I got a lot of insults.
You will get insults.
I get a lot of insults. We are not a big club anymore. This is not the first time I said it. I remember having this argument with Yagman back then.
Describe what the big club is. If you want to say historically,
big club on paper.
You know what? No,
on paper, money.
All right, yeah, but historically, Arsenal are a big club in terms of the traditions, and the length of support and the fact that what we've won. But in terms of like, if Chelsea winning the second Champions League, they're punching well above our weight. Because you win in Europe,
Exactly.
win the couple of big ears twice, then you're punching. I mean, you know, Chelsea won it twice. Man United won it 3 times. Liverpool won it 6 times. Not the Forest have won it twice. So
and we haven't even won it once.
we got 1 final, 1 semi-final. So in terms of like the situation is that Arsenal fans, in my opinion, have to get real. They have to demand more from the owner and whoever takes over. They can't be settling for this any standards do. And the whole process has to be revolutionary. We've had enough of evolutionary. In 71, when we did the double, we rested on our laurels and celebrated it. It took for George Graham to come in 86 to change Waking the Sleeping Giant. We're doing the same thing in 2004 with the Invincibles. Still celebrating we got a gold trophy. How it celebrate? The other day, we have to replicate what Chelsea and Man City are doing off the field and in terms of like the mentality. Because simple reason is in terms of the facilities is all there, but their academy, Chelsea's academy and Man City's academy is better. They're producing, especially Chelsea's, to get the best boys in London, and they're producing players not just to play for Chelsea, but to play professional football. So what they do, so when they sell these players, that funds their transfer budget, which means someone is doing something right. There's no shame in Arsenal shadowing Chelsea and Man City were doing, but they won't do it because it's not classy. Unless Arsenal think like Chelsea and Man City, they will never, ever, ever challenge. And then whilst Arsenal try to catch up, Chelsea will win another Champions League. Man City will win the Champions League eventually. And Man United, if they get it right off the field, they'll dominate again, and Arsenal will be left behind.
Definitely.
Sorry.
All right, cool. I'm just no, that's fine. I'm just conscious of time, and I want us to talk about Saka quickly because obviously I talked about him, but you didn't talk too much about him, and I just want us to use the next, I don't know, few minutes to talk about Saka. What do you think is Saka's role in this team? I will start by saying I feel one of his role,
experience.
That's one of it, but I think his role is to bring more options into the team.
Yeah,
attacking wise, defensive wise, whatever. This is my thought. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Well, yeah, you do look at the situation because one of the things we have to assume England are going to get into the last 16, where they're going to have a potential last 16 match against either Portugal, Germany, France, or even Hungary. In terms of last 16, so in games like this where players get injured or you want to change something. Saka, you're right. Say if you want to play someone at left back, I don't like it at left back, but I get the sentiment. Or you want to play at left wing back, I get it. You know, if you want someone who could play down the right and try and attack from the right hand side and commit players, yeah, he does give those options, I suppose. And I suppose another thing as well, he has been in and around Gareth Southgate's squads as well, and started games for England. So obviously, his inclusion wouldn't be a surprise to no man or anyone. So I do understand where they're coming from, because I think what's happening is that if you look at England's squad, especially what they're doing, this squad is basically not here for the group stages. It's there for the knockout stages where, tight games, je ne sais quoi. Probably that's why he's gone for a lot of creativity and players who can run at players. Grealish, creativity. Foden, creativity. Mount, playmaker, strike creativity. So, so he's probably looked at that and said, right, how am I going to lock those defences of France, Germany, and Portugal, and then how am I going to do that in the quarterfinals and the semi-finals and the final? So I suppose what he's saying is that England have lacked creativity while I've got creative players, but I still think the most important aspect in football isn't creativity; it's ball retention, and that's my concern.
And I think he's quite good at that. I think Saka is quite good at returning the possession.
Well, you say, but you in a traditional sense, the person who, the midfield general is the one who conducts the orchestra. Is the one who sets your tempo of play, slows down your tempo, quickens your tempo, especially in the last third. That's a general. I don't see a midfield general in there. But that's just my opinion.
Like I said, since the likes of you have a point. Like I said, since the likes of Scorsese and the likes of Gerrard, I don't think we've really had those kind of. It is really wasted, because there was a time that they were all available with Lampard as well.
We had an idiot. We had an idiot from Sweden called Sven-Göran Eriksson, useless coach. Useless. Absolutely useless.
Come on, be nice, be nice.
No, I'm not
anyway,
being nice. I'm an England
Anyway.
fan, and that man wasted the golden generation.
You're really angry now, aren't you?
I am. You bring back bad memories when you talk about England the last year. You do it on purpose as well. You do it on purpose.
We have only a few more minutes, so listen, guys. I'm gonna be back here tomorrow with the lads, Bemiga, Akuma, and Mosi Boy, for the Last Giddy Effect. It's a kind of Ninja show where we talk a little bit of Pidgin English and a little bit of English, of course. So we're gonna be doing the third episode tomorrow. Let me just give you guys a little bit of a teaser of it.
Tick tock, time na money. Ori, me, jeka sheko yori. Licky, come and take me away to the place of my desire. I don't wanna be with.
Yes, people, that's Last Giddy Effect. Is going to be coming to you guys tomorrow, 8 p.m. Hopefully, I'm going to be able to get all the guys, and you're going to be hearing a bit of lingo.
Can I just say something, right? Isn't it?
Say whatever you want to say.
Declan Rice is singing the national anthem. It was only 2 years ago that it was a problem of his life when he played for.
That was a what? Sorry, say that again. I didn't hear you.
It's a proud moment of Declan Rice's life 2 years ago when he played for the Republic of Ireland in a friendly match. Best night of his life yet. 2 years down the line, he's singing the English national anthem with such vigour and passion.
Such is life, isn't it? You always look at Laporte. Laporte is going to be singing a different national anthem very soon.
Oh, yeah, he's Spanish now, isn't he? He's Spanish now, isn't he?
Exactly.
Yes.
So this happens a lot. Anyway, Ken, honestly, thanks a lot for coming on. I really appreciate you coming on. And any last words?
Myself. Well,
I did as well.
Well, if England get through past the last 16, then they've got a good chance. But I just say, in terms of Euro 2020, watch out for Spain. Watch out for Spain.
All right. I would hold you to that because I don't think they're gonna go far. This is my opinion. I feel the fact that they don't have Sergio Ramos, it's really gonna affect them. This is my take on that. But we'll wait and see. Yeah, and we'll talk about this some other time. Anyway, it's your boy, the Blunt Point. Lovers, be lovers, haters, be haters. We're out of here, people. Talk to you guys later. Cheers. You don't need a coach. You don't need a coach.